There was a small village surrounded by green fields and dusty roads. In that village lived a 20-year-old girl named Anaya. Anaya came from a simple middle-class family. Her father worked hard every day to support the family. Her mother took care of the home. They did not have much money. But Anaya had a big dream. She wanted to get a job. She wanted to become independent. She wanted to stand on her own feet. Every morning, she would wake up early, look at the sunrise, and quietly say to herself, "One day, I will change my life." But there was one problem. She lived in a place where people had something to say about everything. And everyone had an opinion about her life. One evening, Anaya told her parents, "I want to go to the city and find a job." Her father became silent. Her mother looked worried. After a few seconds, her father said, "A job? In the city?" Anaya nodded. "Yes, Papa. I want to work. I want to build my career." Her father looked at her and said, "People in the village will talk." Her mother added, "What if something goes wrong? What will people say about us?" Anaya didn't argue. She simply looked down. She understood their fear. But inside her heart, another voice was saying, "What will people say today is temporary. But your life is permanent." The next morning, Anaya went outside. Two women were standing near a small shop. When they saw her, they started talking. "She wants to go to the city for a job." Another woman laughed. "Why does she need a job? She should stay at home." Someone else said, "Girls who go outside become too independent." A few young people also made fun of her. "The village girl wants to become successful." They laughed. Anaya heard everything. Her eyes became wet. For a moment, she wanted to go home. She wanted to stop dreaming. But then she remembered something her school teacher once told her. People will always talk. Your job is not to stop them. Your job is to keep moving. Anaya wiped her tears. And continued walking. Anaya started preparing for jobs. She had an old smartphone. The screen was slightly damaged. Her internet connection was not always good. She did not have an expensive laptop. But she had determination. Every night, while everyone was sleeping, Anaya studied. She learned English. She learned computer skills. She prepared her resume. She watched interviews. She practiced speaking in front of a mirror. Sometimes she made mistakes. Sometimes she became frustrated. Sometimes she asked herself, "Can I really do this?" Then she looked at herself in the mirror and said, "Yes. I can." After weeks of preparation, Anaya finally applied for her first job. She waited for the call. One day passed. Then another. Finally, she received a message. "We regret to inform you that you have not been selected." Anaya stared at the screen. She felt broken. She went outside and sat under a tree. She started crying. Her mother found her there. She sat beside her and asked, "What happened?" Anaya replied, "I failed, Mom." Her mother held her hand and said, "No, my daughter." Anaya looked at her mother. Her mother smiled and said, "One rejection cannot decide your entire life." Those words stayed in Anaya's heart. Anaya applied again. Rejected. She applied again. Rejected. Another interview. Rejected. People in the village noticed. And they started talking again. We told her she couldn't do it. She should stop wasting her time. Girls like her should not dream so big. Every word hurt. But Anaya slowly became stronger. She stopped explaining herself to everyone. She stopped trying to prove herself with words. Instead, she decided to prove herself with results. She made a simple rule. I will not answer people. I will answer life with my work. One morning, Anaya received a phone call. It was from a company in the nearby city. They wanted to interview her. Her hands started shaking. This was her chance. She prepared harder than ever. She practiced answers. She improved her English. She researched the company. She prepared her documents. On the day of the interview, she wore her best simple clothes. Her mother fixed her hair. Her father silently gave her some money for the journey. Before she left, her father said, "Come back with confidence. Whether you get the job or not, I am proud of you." For the first time, Anaya saw pride in her father's eyes. She smiled. And left for the city. Anaya entered the company. Everything looked new. People were wearing formal clothes. There were computers everywhere. For a moment, she felt nervous. Then the interviewer called her inside. The interview began. Some questions were difficult. Anaya did not know every answer. But she did not lie. She calmly said, "I don't know the answer yet, but I am willing to learn." The interviewer looked at her. Then asked, "Why do you want this job?" Anaya took a deep breath. She said, "Because I don't want my circumstances to decide my future. I want to learn, work hard, and create a better life for myself and my family." The interviewer smiled. 2 days later, Anaya's phone rang. She answered. The voice on the other side said, "Congratulations, Anaya. You have been selected." For a few seconds, she couldn't speak. Her eyes filled with tears. She whispered, "Thank you." Then she immediately called her mother. "Mom. I got the job." Her mother started crying. Her father became silent. But this time, his silence was different. He was proud. He simply said, "I knew you could do it." A few days later, Anaya returned to her village. The same road was there. The same shops were there. The same people were there. But Anaya was different. The people who once laughed at her now looked at her with respect. One woman who had criticized her earlier came forward and said, "You really did it." Anaya smiled. She did not insult her. She did not remind her about the past. She simply said, "I was lucky to have people who doubted me. They taught me how strong I could become." Then she walked home. That evening, Anaya sat with her father. He looked at her and said, "I was afraid of what people would say." He paused. Then continued. "But I forgot to ask what my daughter wanted from her life." Anaya smiled. Her father held her hand. "Never stop dreaming." Anaya replied, "I won't, Papa." Months passed. Anaya worked hard at her job. She learned new skills. She became more confident. She helped her family financially. But something else changed too. She started helping other girls from her village. She taught them basic computer skills. She helped them prepare resumes. She encouraged them to study. One young girl asked her, "Didi, what if people talk about me?" Anaya smiled. She replied, "Let them talk." Then she said, "People will talk when you fail. People will talk when you succeed. So don't build your life around their opinions." Years later, Anaya stood on a stage in front of many young students. She looked at them and said, "I was once a girl who was afraid of one sentence. What will people say?" She paused. Then smiled. "But one day I understood something. People's opinions cannot pay your bills. People's opinions cannot build your career. People's opinions cannot live your life. Only you can." She looked at the young girls sitting in front of her. And said, "If you have a dream, respect it. If you want to work, work. If you want to learn, learn. If you fail, try again. And if people laugh at you," she smiled, "keep walking. Because sometimes, the people who laugh at your dream today will be the same people who respect your success tomorrow." Anaya's story was never really about getting a job. It was about becoming strong enough to choose her own future. And that is the lesson. Don't live your life according to, what will people say? Live your life according to, what can I become? Because your life is yours. Your dream is yours. And your future is waiting for you to take the first step.